Before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more gripping true crime stories just like this. He almost didn't come home early. He had reasons to stay, a meeting that ran long, a colleague who wanted to grab dinner, a city he had visited a dozen times that still had one restaurant he had never tried. He could have stayed. He almost did, but something pulled him home. Not a feeling exactly, not a premonition. Just a quiet, unremarkable pull toward the place where his life was. Toward the pale blue house on Clearwater Drive, toward the woman he had been married to for 9 years. He booked the earlier flight, drove home from the airport without calling ahead, pulled into his driveway at 6:47 in the evening, and walked through the front door of a life he would never be able to walk back into the same way again. His name was Marcus Webb, 44 years old. Regional sales director, traveled for work 3 or 4 times a month. He was good at his job. Methodical, reliable, not exciting, not flashy, but the person you wanted in the room when something needed to get done. He had met his wife Rachel at a work conference 14 years ago. She had been presenting a paper on consumer behavior patterns. 9 years of marriage, a house they had renovated together over 3 summers, 2 dogs, a vegetable garden in the backyard. By every external measure, Marcus Webb had exactly the life he wanted. He had never once had reason to question it. He trusted completely. In the deliberate, conscious way of a person who has decided that trust is the foundation everything else is built on. And on the evening of October 3rd, he came home to find out what that trust had been built on. He didn't knock. He never knocked. It was his house. He pushed the door open, set his bag down in the hallway, called Rachel's name. No answer. The house had a particular quality of silence. A charged silence, the kind that has something inside it. He walked into the kitchen first, to wine glasses on the counter, both used. He stood there for a moment looking at those 2 glasses. His mind looked for the innocent explanation first. Rachel's sister, a friend from work. This time he heard movement from upstairs. What Marcus Webb found at the top of those stairs, I am not going to describe in detail. The details are not the point of this story. Marcus was not a violent man. But standing at the top of those stairs, something happened inside Marcus Webb. He was in the bedroom for less than 4 minutes. What happened in those 4 minutes changed 4 lives permanently. At 7:03 p.m., a neighbor heard shouting. At 7:11 p.m., Marcus Webb called 911 himself. His voice was calm. Officers arrived at 7:19 p.m. They found Rachel Webb in the kitchen. A cut above her eyebrow, shaken, not seriously injured. They found the other man, David Carver, sitting in the living room with a broken wrist and a calculating expression. They found Marcus Webb sitting on the front porch steps. He had not tried to leave. He was sitting there with his hands in his lap. Marcus Webb was charged with assault causing bodily harm. His attorney argued, crime of passion, heat of the moment. The prosecution argued that comprehensible and acceptable are not the same thing, that the law does not have a category for understandable violence. The jury deliberated for 7 hours. Marcus Webb was convicted on both counts. He received 18 months, suspended sentence. He could not return to the pale blue house on Clearwater Drive, the house he had renovated, the house with the vegetable garden. Rachel Webb filed for divorce. She and David Carver were no longer together either. A sad footnote to an already sad story. Marcus Webb completed his probation. He still works in sales. His colleagues still describe him as steady. He has never spoken publicly about what happened. Not once. Marcus Webb was not a violent man. He was steady. He was trusted. And in 4 minutes on a Tuesday evening, he became someone he had never been before and has never been since. The life that existed, whole and real and believed in completely, right up until the second the front door opened. He came home early, and the man he became was not the man he thought he was either. That is the cruelest part of all.